ready. Today we're showcasing the latest Foglight for Databases update, packed with tools to make monitoring faster and smarter. Discover Query Explorer to quickly identify slow queries, and AI alarms that provide instant troubleshooting advice. And don't worry if you're on an older version, we'll guide you through a smooth upgrade. Buckle up. What you're about to see could completely change how you manage your databases. Let's get started.
Hi folks, my name is Dennis O'Sullivan. I'm a solutions consultant with Quest. And in this episode, Foglight 101 series, we're looking at Foglight 8.0, what's new and why it matters. Okay, with it being a .0 release, I'm sure everyone is very interested to see what's the big new feature, what justifies the .0 release. So we'll look at that. We'll look at the new features, enhancements, user experience enhancements, and platform support enhancements. Okay, so jumping right in, here are the new features and enhancements. The big one in this release is AI alarms. This is a feature in Foglight that uses an intelligent bot feeding alarm messages into an LLM, improving alarm analysis and response times. We've also introduced our Query Explorer. This is a new dashboard on top of SQL PI. It has kind of two functions. First of all, it's a simplified PI dashboard. I kind of explain it as if you want to read a book, sometimes you'll just look at the back cover and get the synopsis and get the highlights. And it's a bit like that. It's a kind of a real trimmed down, easy to understand view of what's a really complex data model in SQL PI. It also allows you to kind of, I suppose, look at PI from a different perspective, whereas you will traditionally use SQL PI to kind of drill down, eliminate the white noise, and get to, say, a problematic SQL statement. With the Query Explorer, you can start with the SQL statement. So maybe a SQL statement you have in SSMS, or a SQL statement you've got from an app performance monitoring tool. And you can feed that into the Query Explorer and get all that rich, granular, in-depth SQL PI information about that particular SQL statement. And the third one here is quite a simple one, but important nonetheless. It's looking at some alarm template enhancements, particularly around Foglight management, looking at the agent credentials and agent health. Okay, so AI alarms. Key benefits here are enhanced alarm insights. So we deliver, again, the information to an LLM about each alarm, and that helps you to understand the underlying issue. It gives you root cause analysis, so it suggests potential causes for the alarm, again, saving time in that investigation efforts, and has guided troubleshooting. So it'll give you actionable suggestions, guiding you through deeper investigation. So you can keep asking it questions, specific questions, and it will give you kind of guided troubleshooting. It'll also give resolution recommendations. So it'll give recommendations for corrective actions, again, accelerating the resolution time and minimizing downtime. I will flag that this does require an additional per user license, which is associated with a Quest account. So when you go to use this, you'll be asked to log in. This isn't your Foglight login. This is a Quest account login. So user access is managed via Quest licensing portal. So your Foglight administrator can decide which users have access to use this AI alarms feature via the Quest licensing portal. And there is a trial license available for this. So when you upgrade to 8.0, if you want to trial AI alarms for a few weeks, you can contact your account manager and we'll get you set up to trial that. Okay, let's take a look at AI alarms. Now, for those of you using Foglight Cloud, this is probably not new to you. Foglight Cloud is a SaaS version of Foglight. AI alarms was released a few months ago on Foglight Cloud. But I'm just going to go to our Foglight for Databases home screen. I'm an Oracle guy, but I have been tasked with, say, kind of monitoring, managing Cassandra. And I've come in here and I've noticed I've got a red alarm on my Cassandra cluster. So I come in here. It's telling me, let me log in here, the schema version of at least 2 nodes is different in cluster, test cluster. I kind of understand what it's saying. Their schema version is different, but what does that mean in the world of Cassandra? And more importantly, how do I resolve it? So I can click on Foglight AI Alarms. This is the login I mentioned. Again, this is your Quest account. This isn't the credentials you use for Foglight, or not necessarily. You might have integrated with AD, so it could be the same account. So it's just talking to our licensing portal to see if I have permissions to use AI alarms. And thankfully I do. So this is the message and the header. Gives us a summary. I'm not going to go through all this text, just explain it. This is the summary. A list of possible causes. So inconsistent schema updates, node isolation, failed updates. Troubleshooting it. So, access your dashboard, review the schema versions, check for errors and warnings. Possible solutions, force a schema refresh, restart node, or check deployment scripts. Okay, so I would say, force a schema refresh sounds good. So, how do I do that? So I'm going to say back to AI, how do I force schema refresh? So now it's telling you how to do that. So force schema refresh, you log into command line and you use your node tool. Okay, this all looks good. It's stepped me through this, giving me considerations. But again, what permissions do I need to run this? So again, it'll give me specific permissions that we've required to run this say node tool command. So again, it's giving you high level breakdown of the alarm. You can ask a question to get more specific answers, and again, it'll guide you through the full process. You can see here, you can mark this as a good response or a bad response as well. So again, the tool will keep learning, and this is feedback to Quest to help us improve this particular feature. So anywhere you see alarms within Foglight, you should see your Foglight AI alarms button as well. So if I go back to one too far back there, but say if I go into SQL Server here, pick my instance, and for example, I have a list of alarms here on the right hand side. Again, if I click on these, you'll see your AI alarms button here. If I have, say, one here, again, once you click on the message, once you get this pop-up screen, you see the AI alarms feature is available there. Okay, so like I said, this is available to trial once you've upgraded to 8.0. Highly recommend it. Contact your account manager, get set up with a trial, and you can see how it works for you. Okay, so the next feature, new feature in 8.0 is our Query Explorer. So again, key features here, search and filter SQL queries, view detailed query information, identify high-cost queries, troubleshoot performance issues, monitor real-time and historical queries, filter by user application and machine. Again, these probably all sound like SQL PI, features SQL PI, and that's because they are. Again, it is a new dashboard for SQL PI. As of this release, 8.0, it's available on SQL Server and Postgres. More platforms to follow in later releases. As I mentioned multiple times already, this is a SQL PI dashboard, requires SQL PI license. And there's also a Chrome extension available, which I actually find really useful, especially if you're working in something like an application performance monitoring tool. You identify SQL there. You don't have to leave that tool. You can just pull up the extension, Foglight extension, put that in, and it will run the investigation for you. So that's quite cool. Okay, so let's take a look. So I'll go back to my home screen here, you'll see on the home screen there is this new Query Explorer option. So again, try that out. And this is the Query Explorer home screen. First thing you need to do is specify your domain. So as I mentioned, SQL Server and Postgres are the two that are supported in this release, and then specify an instance. So I'm going to pick my enterprise data warehouse. There are, again, two sides, as I mentioned. You can search by query or kind of have this PI view where you a top-down approach. So I'm going to search for by top. I'm going to pick, you can pick one or many databases. I'm going to pick my point of sale database here. You can filter again by users, machines, programs, order by, whatever you like. And you could again show top 10 or top 25. I'm just going to look for a top 10. So here is a list of the SQL. Again, oh, sorry, forgot to mention we have our time frame here as well. I'll go to 24 hours because there's probably not a whole pile happening on this particular instance. So here are a list of my queries. They're by default, they're ordered by percentage of total. And you can see here, this is a percent of statement workload from total instance workload within the selected time frame. This table is configurable as well. You can select your columns here. You can search and filter here further as well. And as you select your SQL here on the left-hand side, you'll see the right-hand side of the screen updates as well. So to see this information in a bit more detail, you can expand this part of the screen out. I can see my SQL text here. I'm going to copy that for later. I can hit the investigate button here, which is quite useful. It takes you right down to traditional SQL PI, and it's drilled down to that particular SQL statement. So it's quite a nice starting off point. And we have this breadcrumb trail, which I can go use to get back. Again, I can go to analyze the plan or compare here as well. Just on the details, you just see the SQL ID as well. Under dimensions by impact, these are the dimensions, again, are similar along that you'll get along the left-hand side of the SQL PI dashboard. But again, if you wanted to see this type of information, you'd have to drill down into each individual dimension. So it's a little time consuming. Whereas here you can see your top 10 dimensions in one view. This is a bad example because this is all running on one database, all run by one user from one client machine, one program, and one batch. So let me go back here and find something, maybe this one here that's running on multiple databases. Will give you an idea. Yeah, so you can see here how it would break down, say, at a database level. So this particular query looks like it's looking for deadlocks, and you can see it's running across multiple different databases. And again, you get a percentage of dimension here. So that's how it breaks it down. Quite a simple view. Let me go back to my original statement here. Below our dimensions, then we have our resource breakdown. Again, the exact same as you'd see in SQL PI towards the top right of the screen. This is your weight event categories. You'd have to go into SQL PI to get the individual weight events, but these are the categories. And again, it's graphing it over the selected time period. And we have some smaller graphs here. Look at average response time, elapsed time. You can change these as well if there's any particular metrics you'd like to see. And you can also graph metrics. So if I wanted to see, for example, maybe active time versus elapsed time. Do that again. Wait time versus elapsed time. So you can graph multiple of these metrics together as well. So you just hold down the control button and it'll graph them together. So it allows you to compare and contrast different metrics. I don't have any blocking on this one. So again, I'll go back and grab one here. This is a lot of locking, so it should have some blocking. And if I scroll down, indeed it does. Yep. So this is a kind of a new blocking view that we have. So again, it just shows you the blocking and blocked session and who it's been blocked by. So get that high level information. And again, if you need anything more in depth, you just hit the investigate button and it'll take you down to the traditional SQL PI. So again, it's just that highlights, high level view that you get with this dashboard. The second side of things, which I think is really cool, is what if you already have a query that you want to investigate? Again, SQL PI doesn't really offer you that option. It allows you to drill down and it'll tell you the problematic query. But what if I just want to see all the SQL PI data for a particular query? So I copied the SQL earlier and I'm just going to paste it in here and click search. It's brought back this particular SQL. What's nice as well is you don't have to have the full text. You can have you can do a search by a subset of SQL statements. So as long as you have 15 characters, you should be able to search as well. So you might get multiple results from this. And again, the same thing, you find your SQL statement, you can drill down and look at the information or click investigate from here to take you down to SQL PI directly. So it's quite useful, again, if you already have a SQL statement. Which brings in our Chrome extension here, which is our Foglight Query Explorer. So let me get the full state. I have the full statement here. So if we highlight this and right click, you can see now when you right click, you have this option. Once it identifies it as a SQL statement, send it to the Foglight Query Explorer extension. When I log in here now, it has that SQL statement pasted in. I just need to put in my Foglight URL, which is just up as far as the port, which domain, SQL or Postgres, the instance name, and the time frame I'm looking at. And it will bring back essentially the same screen I was just looking at there. It'll bring up the query insights. So that's quite useful if you're in, say, an app performance monitoring tool or something like that. It will launch Foglight with the SQL statement that you've pasted in there. So that's the Query Explorer. Again, I think a really useful imaginative approach to using SQL PI data, that rich granular data from a kind of a different perspective. Okay, so the next feature, again, this will be a quick one, alarm template enhancements. A couple of new alarms that are specific to kind of Foglight management as opposed to the monitored instances, looking at agent credential and agent health. So two new alarms. We scanned for agent credentials. So if the credentials the agent is using to connect to the monitored instance, if those credentials expire or get locked or anything like that, it will trigger this alarm. We have another alarm looking at agent health as well. So if the agent is anything other than healthy, it will flag that as well. It's important to note these are global alarms, so they can only be used in the default alarm template. So we'll just quickly have a look on how you set those up. So we go to alarm management, alarm templates. Again, it must be on the default template, which is the one with the tick next to it here. When you start off, you'll need to go edit, go to domains, and you will see there is a Foglight domain now. And once you add that in, you'll be able to go to Foglight here, and you'll have two new alarms that you would recommend turning on. So just wanted to flag those with you. Quite useful and important. Okay, so they're the new features I wanted to flag with you. AI alarms, Query Explorer, and those new Foglight management templates. There are also some user experience enhancements I want to introduce you to. So first of all, and finally, you can set your home page within the Foglight application. So you can set it and change it, which has been requested for quite a long time. We've improved the navigation to custom dashboards, so you can now group custom dashboards, say your custom dashboards versus custom dashboards that have been maybe created and shared by other users. And we also have new online release notes. So the release notes are accessible directly from within the Foglight application now. So we'll just quickly look at those three features. So let me go to my Foglight home screen. So by default, this is my Foglight home screen. I want to change that to say I want to go to our new Query Explorer. So what you do is you go to Query Explorer, bring up this menu here, and you'll see there is a new button, Set New Homepage. Confirm this, it's just set for me, not multiple users. So now if I launch a new Foglight session, you can see it's defaulted straight to the Query Explorer. And you can reset that. So you can reset it, or if there's a custom dashboard or anything like that you want to set your home screen, just open it and hit this button here. I'm going to reset it before I forget. So you can reset it back to the default. So that is the home screen option. The next one was the custom dashboards. So if I scroll down the end here, I am logged in as pre-sales admin. So I can see there that is my user. So now I will see all my custom dashboards listed under my name. And if anyone shared custom dashboards with me, you will see there is a section here, other users dashboards. And again, they'll be grouped by those users. So you can see the individual dashboards that those users shared with a small change. And the final one is accessing the release notes. So if you just click this menu option here, you can now access the release notes directly from here as well, which is quite useful. So they're just three examples of UX improvements in the new version of Foglight. Okay, so there's also some platform support enhancements. So first of all, additional support for MySQL variants. So with open source platforms like MySQL and Postgres in particular, you get a lot of variants, and we do our kind of best to support all these variants and offer feature parity across them. But it's not always possible because different variants expose different levels of information. We try to, find workarounds to get feature parity as much as possible, but it's not always possible. But a couple of enhancements here. So for example, we've added PI support for MySQL and Azure Flexible Server, and also enhanced our MySQL on AWS Aurora offering. For the Oracle folk, we now support monitoring PDB only databases. This is in particular for AWS RDS, where you can't connect to the CDB. But it is important to note that each PDB will be treated as a separate instance within Foglight and will require its own per instance license. So you can use this on premise if you like, but kind of be warned that you will need to license each PDB individually. So from a licensing point of view, it doesn't make much sense to do it outside of AWS RDS. And for our SQL Server folk, we have added support for SSAS 2019 and 22. We've also added the option of collecting deadlock information via extended events if you're using AWS RDS. It's quite simple to do. You just go to the agent status dashboard, select the agent, go to properties, and within the properties, there's a section there for deadlock collections. There's a drop-down list where you can change that to extended events. And we've improved the blocking list display. I actually showed you that earlier in the PI view, the Query Explorer view. So again, everything I covered today and a lot more is covered in the release notes. I couldn't go through everything, obviously. Just picked out what I thought were the most important and interesting points. But you can access the release notes. This is what they look like. It'll cover what's new. It'll recover all the resolved issues in this particular release, including, I believe, 67 resolved issues that came directly from customers. There are still some known issues, and they'll be documented here. some upgrade and compatibility considerations. For example, if you're upgrading from quite an old version of Foglight, you may have to upgrade to version 7 first. And we also have individual release notes for the different database cartridges. So if you want to access those release notes prior to installing version 8.0, these are the on-prem release notes here, and this is the QR code you can use. And if you're using Foglight Cloud, you're already on .8 anyway, but you can access it here. And this is the QR code for the release notes for Foglight Cloud. Okay, so that's it from me. Our next Foglight Skills 101 episode is episode 5, part 3, which deals with building custom dashboards for your extended topology. That's on 17th of September with my colleague Clay Jackson. If you miss part 1 and part 2 of this, you can watch those on demand from this link here or wherever you signed up for this particular webinar. So without further ado, we'll move on to the live Q&A section.